Captain's Log Supplemental. We've been spinning our wheels for 3 days now, and still no progress in breaking free of the subspace layer. Citizens of the galaxy, brace yourselves, for at this very moment forces beyond mortal comprehension are converging upon the cosmos. Will civilization survive? Will reason triumph? Will our brave crew escape the sinister clutches of another holodeck malfunction? Greetings, loyal listeners, and welcome aboard Hit or Miss Star Trek, where courage is plentiful, the danger is entirely fictional, and the reviews are very real. I am your fearless host, Captain Michael Wilson, the Captain Proton of this week's proceedings, standing resolute upon the bridge as we continue our ongoing mission through Star Trek's holodeck adventures. Joining me for the first time this series is my trusted occasional first officer, DK. Welcome.
Hold on. Coffee first. Yes, it's good to be here, mate.
Oh, Janeway and her coffee. Yeah, ready for a whole new series of daring exploits?
I am. It's weird to be back on after such a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I think you've got another couple, actually, another 2 in a row. So, yeah, ready to get back into a Star Trek frame of mind after finally catching up with last season of Strange New Worlds for the most part as well.
I was going to say almost catching up. Damn you, episode 10.
Well, you're not paying Paramount Plus, and quite frankly, I'd be offended if you did for that shit. So, anyway, and that's quite enough about that. I've ranted about that episode enough. You can find that video on the channel if you really are interested in my opinions. But yeah. Let's see. Also reporting for duty is an officer whose keen scientific mind may yet save us all, assuming the death ray doesn't reach us first. It's occasional guest and friend of the show, Mary. Welcome back.
Hey, I am so glad to be back. It's been a while, and I could not miss the opportunity to talk about this episode.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the holodeck episodes, and I love the fun ones the most, which are most of them, to be fair. In this one, I think none more fun than this, so I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Right, definitely.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, today's menace is unlike any we've faced before. Sinister villains, dashing heroes, rocket ships, lightning machines, ridiculously overacted declarations of doom. Yes, you've probably guessed it. We're setting a course for Bride of Chaotica! ! One of Voyager's most gloriously theatrical adventures. But wait! Before we plunge headlong into the fiendish schemes of mad scientists and fearless captains, there are vital reports to receive from across the quadrant. Yes, we do start with various other sections before our main review, so prepare yourselves, throw open the channels. It's time for Hailing Frequencies Open.
Hailing Frequencies Open, sir.
So, because this is your first episode in this series, DK, I get to ask you this first of all. So I don't need to ask about your Trek journeys. You guys have all been on before, but I do like to ask about whatever we're kind of studying in this particular given series, in this case, hologram-related stuff. So I've got to ask, is there any holodeck-related type things that you want to shout out as being particularly good and favourite, or any that you think are a complete miss and bad? It doesn't have to be, an episode. It can be an episode, a program, an ongoing plot, a character, anything you like.
I did like the very first kind of holodecks episode on Next Generation with the Binars. And I did like that one. Although, Riker, it's just so embarrassing. But other than that, yeah, I kind of...
Like I was the first person to get a ChatGPT girlfriend.
Yeah, but oh my God. Even then, his game was so bad. Don't like Dixieland jazz. Can't dance to it. Yeah, okay, move along.
Oh man, I completely forgot that episode. It's not on the list to review, but I do quite like that. It's quite fun every episode. Yeah, but with the weirdest title, I think it's 11001001, which I have no idea what that means. I presume it's binary for something.
Yeah.
No clue. Awesome. Anything else you want to shout out?
I know you hate me for this, but I'm not the world's biggest fan of First Contact, but I do like the little holodeck section in First Contact. It's
Okay.
expanding on the Dixon Hill thing.
Yeah.
Expanding on it better than Strange New Worlds did.
Yeah, well, again, let's not go there. We reviewed that at the start of this season, so you can hear my rant about that episode. I may have mentioned you without giving your name, Mary, because I think I said somebody else had real issue with Spock and La'an at the end of that episode.
A million %. I had such strong feelings about that. Yep. I kind of forgotten about it a little bit because, to be honest, I didn't even finish watching the season. I still haven't, because I dropped Paramount Plus and I just didn't. I didn't go back to it. You
weren't missing very much. I kept telling DK because I was like, I kind of want you to watch season 3 to catch up, but at the same time, I think there's maybe 3 good episodes and 2 okay ones, and then 5 abysmal ones.
Right. I think I watched. I'm trying to remember if I watched 4 or 5 of the season. So I feel like I watched almost half of it, but it just didn't do anything for me. And
you put the work in, Mary. I just dust yourself off and move on.
That's fine. Yeah. I found a way to watch I found a way to watch Starfleet Academy, and I honestly enjoyed that. I enjoyed that.
Was fantastic. One. I'm desperately trying to spread the word about that. I know it's already cancelled, but seriously, everybody needs to watch it. It is way better than I thought it would ever be, and I still maintain probably the best first season of any Trek series. And I mean, out of all 12, I'm serious.
I had such a low bar for it, and I personally spoke up about their marketing that I thought it was not hitting the notes at all, and everything. And then when I watched the show, I was like, Oh, okay. So this is Star Trek. This is Star Trek, and I was one on the first episode.
Oh yeah, the first episode was good. It took me a couple. I think it was episode 3 or 4 when I was like, "This is great." The rest were good. Don't get me wrong, but it was like 8 out of 10s and whatever. But and then it really hit and just kept on going for the rest of the season. So
absolutely.
But I was going to say somebody at Paramount should be fired, but that's true in general of everything. But whoever is in charge of the marketing should definitely be fired for that, because the way it was marketed as Star Trek 90210 or something, and it is absolutely not that at all.
Right. And I feel like that in and of itself was tone deaf of Paramount, and almost fomenting the reaction that we got from all of the haters. They were never going to give it a chance. They were never going to give it a chance based on that. So it's like they shot themselves in the foot, Yeah. But let's move on.
Anyway, moving on. Yeah, that was a slight discussion.
I just have to say,
that's all right.
Before we do move on, I'm disappointed you didn't use Spock's full name.
What's that?
Spock the fuck boy.
I think I did say that actually in a TikTok that I made about that. I was like, he's not meant to be that. Why are we making him such? It's so weird. It's so weird.
I didn't see that TikTok because I made a lot of the same points, but I want it known I'm not just copying Mary. We just happened to share the same.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you did. I feel justified.
Yeah. When I spoke to Mike about the episode, he says you've pretty much just said everything that me and Mary just said.
Yeah.
Yep. It was bad enough anyway. But
I know. But I think what you guys were talking about is our other holodeck things that we like.
Yes, sorry, that was going to be the next question to you.
Yeah. So I'm ready to go because I was already thinking about it. I am a big fan of the Invictiverse on Loaded.
Yes.
Loved it. I love how
I literally recorded that yesterday. It's going to go out a week after this one.
I know. I'm so excited for that one. I was like, I feel like when I looked at your schedule, I feel like I told you I wanted to maybe do that one, But I was like, but I really love Voyager and I really love Bride of Chaotica. So, and I could only commit to one because I'm just super busy. And thank you. I'll just say this right now. If you ever get on, if Michael ever asks you to be on his podcast, he is the most accommodating gentleman ever to work with busy schedules like mine. So I appreciate it.
I try, but it's half the battle when the guest is good. I don't think I would go to this trouble if the guest turned out to be a pain in the ass and you were just not talking or really annoying.
Well, I mean, I am a pain in the ass, but you know.
But you're our pain in the ass, and that's the difference.
We agree on the pain in the ass.
No, absolutely not. No, you're a great guest. But no, so you say the Vindictiverse, the 2 lower decks.
Yes. I love it. I love, honestly, because like in those episodes, there's it's just something about lower decks, how they do their things too. But like, you know, they're lampooning the movies, they're lampooning, you know, just stuff. But also at the same time, there's so much heart in it, and there's character growth. You know, like they're dealing with their issues. Like, you know, first Mariner's dealing with her mom issues and stuff. And then Boimler's dealing with the, you know, his supposed loss of his, you know, clone, his transporter clone. And it's just incredible. And they do that in half an hour, you know, 2 half-hour episodes. They did that much in half an hour. And I'm always blown away by what they did. I'm going to say one more time, like I've said a million times, I miss that show. They needed to do more.
Oh, yeah. Well, that became a running theme yesterday because I had, it was myself, Justin, and Jason Gaston on for the first time recording that. So,
I love him.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah, he's great.
I'm so excited. I'm extra pumped now to listen.
Oh, it'll be coming up, don't worry, in a couple of weeks. But once I get it edited and out. But yeah, we spent a lot of the time. I mean, it was a 2-hour session, and we talked about both of the Crisis Point holodeck episodes, and a lot of that was just devoted to, like, my word, Paramount are fucking stupid for canceling Lower Deck. Yeah. It could have been like Family Guy. It could have just ran, you know. It could have. There was so many, and every time we mentioned character development, I think I mentioned like, oh, it's amazing how Tendi starts to develop into a leadership role in Crisis Point 2, and I think it was either Justin or Jason said like, yeah, imagine how cool that could have been if you'd had years, and then she slowly developed into a leadership type role over the next like 10 years or something, which you could absolutely have done. I'm like, don't even get me started. You know?
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it could have definitely ran, and I think if ever it gets a chance to come back, I think it could and it should. But I think that's just me being stupid and hopeful, maybe. There's so many stories to tell. But, I know Mike McMahon has said he didn't want to end it. He'd happily come back and do, you know, even a movie or anything. So we'll see. You never know. So anyway, so anything else in the holodeck realm that you like or even dislike? Because we haven't really had a chance to bitch about anything yet.
No, honestly, I'm a big fan of holodeck episodes. Some people don't like them, but in general, like I have always enjoyed them. You know, I've never been one to be like, oh wow, this one's really bad. Nope. I'm like, oh boy, holodeck episode.
Yeah, I'm like that. I did get some feedback. I think I can't remember what it was for, but I got a feedback from somebody that just said, I think every holodeck episode is a miss. And I was like, wow, that is a bold statement and encompasses a lot of episodes. Like, really?
Yeah.
It's like, how? It's like every genre. How can you hate every single one of them, you know? It's like spy movie, sci-fi, you know, detective. It's a chance to go and play in different playgrounds. How can you say,
I know. And honestly, you know, Picard's Dixon ones were so good because they let Patrick Stewart do more. You know, and that's what this one does too. It allows Kate Mulgrew to do more. So,
we will get into it, and that's going to be a running theme because we also reviewed Our Man Bashir, and one of the things we said there is that there's some people playing it straight, but certainly the likes of Nana Visitor and Avery Brooks are just having the absolute time of their lives because they get to be over the top in that episode. And I think Kate Mulgrew's much the same here. So again, we'll get to it, I'm sure.
Yep.
Get ahead of ourselves, but that's awesome. So anything you wanted to shout out or bitch about, DJ, that you don't like from the holodeck or hologram realm?
No, just the adventure hour.
We're all just avoiding the fair here until we get to that.
Truly, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get into it. I'll keep it. I'll keep it low key.
Fair enough.
Just put on the record. I wanted to like it, and then I ended up hating it. So.
Oh, the Strange New Worlds, you mean? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I tried it again, and no, it got worse. Anyway, not to worry. So, yeah, we'll close down that there before we start mourning Strange New World season 3 anymore, and we'll move to the next section. The section that gives the podcast its name, which is the hit or miss section, of course.
What about my performance? I'm not a drama critic.
So, the hit or miss section for any new viewers, which, if it's been 90 odd episodes, where have you been? But if in case you are new, it's a section where I just throw out things from anywhere in the Trek universe, ask if it's a hit or a miss, debate it back and forth, come to a consensus, because there's 3 of us, so we basically can, and then we'll move on from there, and we'll keep it nice and civil. We always do, and that's all about it. You can then join our debate afterwards in the episode promo and stuff that we do. And I should say that there will be some stuff mixed in there that will be to do with the holodeck theme of the season, but not everything, because I do like to mix it up as well. So are we all clear? Can we remember the hit or miss section? We're all good to go?
Yeah.
Cool. We're good.
Because even you haven't done this for a while, DK, so you can remember it as well, yeah?
I can remember the section. Whether I can remember what's in the section is a different matter.
Well,
yeah, I was going to say, sometimes I run across things and I'd be like, wow, I really don't even know what that is. And because I'm not as detail-oriented as I think I am.
Well, there will be images on screen, and I'll help you go through it because I have the autism mind to accommodate a lot of useless information. So the first thing might be a little bit tricky. I would understand that, actually, because it's a 2-part episode of Voyager, which is hologram related. It's called Flesh and Blood. And for the sake of the audience and anyone else that's a little bit unsure, it's Voyager season 7, and it's the 2-part episode in which the Hirogen return, and it's revealed that they used the hologram technology that Voyager gave them to basically create semi-sentient holograms that have their own lives that the Hirogen then basically hunt. And these holograms want to have their own life and they have their own chip, and they don't want to be hunted by the Hirogen. And Voyager, of course, has the guilt of, we're the ones that gave them this technology. What do we do? Kind of thing. So, yeah. Anyway, Mary, you're the guest. I'm going to come to you first on this for this episode.
This was a hit for me. I thought this one really dove into the whole doctor's, wanting to be recognized as an individual and everything. But this also, with this conflict of what happened with the Hirogen's holograms, made him question even himself and what he was doing. But the whole him switching allegiances or so, I loved it. So much philosophical debate in it. And it was great. Big hit for me.
That's a hit. Hit from Mary. So over to you, DK. Can you recall this episode? And if so, what are your thoughts on it?
I can vaguely recall it. I can't give many details, but I do remember enjoying this one. Okay. I was always kind of a fan of, Star Trek Predator. So
yeah, I thought the same as soon as the Hirogen debuted. I was like, somebody likes Predator. Okay.
Yeah. But, it was a decent one, and it's nice to see. And I did like Voyager for this especially. They took, obviously with the Doctor, but they took the holodeck and gave it some new lore and expounded upon it and actually made it really, really interesting, as opposed to, this deck's effed up again this episode. And, it actually they actually got some really, really good stories out of it, and this was one of them. So yeah, it's a hit for me.
Yeah, well, again, I'll be quite boring. It's a hit for me too, for basically the reasons that you guys already said. But also just, I like that, I don't think I was expecting the end of the Killing Game to be referenced or to come back in any way. I thought that was just done with the Hirogen, and I kind of got the kind of clever ending of that, of like, you leave us alone and we'll give you the ability to make your own hologram so that you can do whatever, but then not realizing it would go this far. So it was nice to, a few years later, revisit that as like, this is the consequences of your actions. And again, you've got to remember, younger viewers, this is a time before streaming. So the idea of a plot device from like 3 years earlier coming back was virtually unheard of. It was
right. It was a great follow-up.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was generally believed, I think, by TV execs that it was like, no, people tune in one week at a time. We can't have any, we've got to reset the status quo at the end of each episode. We can't reference anything back. So it was kind of nice to have that. And again, Series 7, I think, did a lot with the Doctor and the kind of hologram as rights kind of thing. Are they sentient? What rights do they have? What don't they have, etc. Which we got more of, obviously, in Starfleet Academy, Prodigy, there various places like that as well. So I liked that it delved into that, like you already said, Mary, the kind of ethical dilemma of it all. And on a pure geek level, it was just nice it gave Voyager a chance to have a bunch of Alpha Quadrant species guesting for the first time, because they were just holograms. So you got to see like Breen and Bajorans and Romulans and whatever. And it was like, oh, that makes sense, because they're just holographic recreations. So we have an excuse to be able to have these guys appear. So it was nice on that level as well. So, yeah, awesome. Well, complete hit there then, 3 out of 3. Can't really fault that. The next thing on this section then, I'll probably end up doing about 4, I think, of these. The second thing you will need no explanation for, but it is hologram related. It's a character. I think you probably know where I'm going here. Hit or miss for the character of Vic Fontaine. And DK, I'll come to you first to mix that up.
He's my all-time favorite character in DS9. It's a hit. Don't even question it. He is the Don. I have the James Darren album. Move on.
Oh, nice. So not much more to say there. You love the character. You like that he was kind of
absolutely
recurring thing.
Adore him. I wish I could have met James Darren before he sadly passed. But
I know, just 2 years ago as well, not that long ago.
I know. But when he came in, DS9 took a whole other level for me. I love Vic Fontaine. So yeah.
And, what do you? I have to ask. What do you make of the idea that it's kind of that he is a sentient hologram? He knows what he is, basically.
I kind of got that, and it works. It works. I mean, you know yourself that one of my favorite episodes is Only Paper Moon.
Oh yeah, we reviewed it.
Yeah, and yeah. I just love the character. I mean, I like DS9, but it went on a whole other level. I love the whole Rat Pack vibe. I love the fact he calls people Pally. I love the advice he gives to Odo about Kira, and I love the dude. I just love him. I think it's a hit plus.
We can safely say that's an unqualified hit on your part then. So over to you, Mary, then, for your thoughts on Vic Fontaine.
I was going to say he's a good egg with me, Pally. I really liked him. I feel like when he came in, he brought to DS9 the void that there was no like ship's counselor. So he kind of filled that in for them, and in such an interesting way too. Yeah. So I really liked him a lot. DS9 is one that I probably have watched the least. That's not a slight against it. It's just me and my watching Voyager and Lower Decks over and over again. That's just. But I do enjoy Deep Space Nine, and I did like his episodes. I thought they were excellent, and he's a really great character. Just. Brought some fun into places where, because Deep Space Nine was so serious, and this brought some levity and, ability, like I said, for the characters to unload a little bit in a lighter way. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and hit with me for all the same reasons. I love the kind of Rat Pack vibe and everything anyway. I don't know whose idea it was or whatever, but it seems inspired because it does it just gels really well somehow with the... right? I don't know, it's the kind of outcasts coming together vibe of the station that's, I think, very kind of 50s Las Vegas, maybe. But yes. And I think I would say he had to be kind of self-aware because, like you said, he basically fulfills the counselor function, and I think he has to be savvy and he has to know what he's kind of counseling them on. So it would be kind of daft if he was had no knowledge of anything beyond the 50s, because then you couldn't have an episode like It's Only a Paper Moon where he's dealing with he knows what Nog's been through and he's been to war and he's lost a leg and everything. And you know, if he was one step behind, that wouldn't be quite as powerful or as meaningful to deal with in that way. So I kind of love everything about the character, and I think, like I said, it was an inspired addition to those last couple of seasons of DS9. You can see why he ended up recurring way more than I think they were initially intending, even. So, yeah. When you think he didn't even start, I think, until what was it? The end of season 6 was his first episode. That he ended up being in so many after that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, awesome. Well, that'll do it for the hologram things, because the third thing on the list is, guess what? A starship, because it's me. And you'd think. You would think I won't know. Well, I'm going to put it up on screen so at least we can judge on aesthetics. So hit or miss for the USS Credence. And I think we're on to you, Mary. If you want to just judge on appearance, then by all means, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay. Is this from Academy?
It's actually from Discovery, but I think it does potentially appear
like in that time.
Century, anyway.
In the future, the 32nd century. We're going.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Based on the fact that I know nothing about it except for this picture that I'm looking at, does it have 3 nacelles, or how many nacelles does it have? That's a wild.
Well, that's a good question.
it almost looks like 4.
I can't work it out. I've really tried. It's baffling, this shit.
Yeah. I honestly, this one's like super weird and looks like a spatula I have that flips pancakes. And then the coffin shaped nacelle that's over there on like the upper.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a nacelle or if that's like just a sensor.
I'm trying to figure it out. My brain is putting this together in some wild ways. I don't care for it. I'm gonna say a miss for me. And it's not because of floating nacelles. I don't have a problem with floating nacelles. No. Yeah. This one's just a little weird. I feel like the flat front was the wrong choice. It's not very aerodynamic, and I don't think that. I mean, I know none of these ships have, the spore drive, so they can't do that. Yeah. So no.
Yeah. No, definitely not. No.
It's a weird design, and I feel like that front would break.
Maybe it did.
Maybe it did.
You never know. Maybe it rammed somebody and then just never bothered rebuilding the front. We don't need it anymore. So, DK, over to you. Thoughts on the Credence?
Again, like Mary, I have no idea about this other than the picture that's sat in front of me. But I would suggest you look it up because there's multiple angles of it, and yet none of them make any logical sense to my eye. Like, I cannot figure out the freaking arrangement of this thing, no matter what angle you look at it. Does it have 4 nacelles? Does it have 2? Does it have 3? I genuinely don't know. Right. You give it yours, and I'm going to quickly look them up while you're talking.
You can look up because there's a model of it actually you can buy as well through Master Replicas. But
I just found that. I just did a Google search and like, look at that.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend spending the £55 on it though. No, the reason that I've been putting this on for the last couple of weeks because I said at the start of this series, I'm kind of boring because I kind of love all ships, and I was like, I'm going to challenge myself to try and pick ones for here that I just do not like, and this is one of them. It's a huge miss for me because, like I said, I can't get my head around what the heck it actually is, and part of it is the detached nacelles don't help in this case. Like you, I don't mind them, Mary. It's perfectly fine. But when there are just 4 random bits of blocks floating heavily, at random around the ship, it's like, what are each one of them? It could be anything.
Seems to be 2 primary holes as well.
Yeah, well, there's like an outer one and then the inside sort of saucer.
Yeah, but they're in a different elevation when you look at it from a different angle. It's odd.
That's what I mean. It's such a weird collection of shapes.
It is like a flying Escher painting.
It really is. You're right. Absolutely. It's the USS Surrealist, it should be called. But no, I'm not a fan of it. Even beyond the geeky level that it's got a registry that's far too low because for some reason it's only 4 digits, which doesn't make sense for the 32nd century.
Lift work on this.
It says it's a experimental, but it's old for them.
Well, it would have to be. Like I said,
so
4
like
digits. We're up to 6.
It's the first of its class. It's a Credence class, is what it says. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have known that.
Can you imagine trying to find your way around that on your first day of a posting?
No. But yeah, like every like the models, those coffin things that I pointed out, they don't seem to be the nacelles. The nacelles are like below that, so it looks like there's only 2. I'm confused.
But they're too thin to be like. At first, I was like, "Is that like an upper and a lower drive section?" And I was like, "No, they're too thin to really be whole, drive section things. Maybe they're sensor pods or something."
Are they like rudders? Did we have to go backwards?
Maybe. But no, I just because it does my head in and I can't figure. I mean, I like the saucer. I don't mind the flat front that you have an issue with, and I don't mind the sort of empty space in the saucer. That kind of Discovery was the first thing to have. But it's fine. I don't mind that. But then beyond the saucer, you just look and you're like, this is just a series of shapes. So apologies. So DK, over to you because that's 2 misses so far. Do you like it now you've seen the other various angles?
I don't know. I feel like I should give a hit or miss for every single picture that I've seen.
It looks none of them from every angle, and yet you're not
related in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to give it a tentative hit just because it's weird, and I like weird.
Okay, cool. Just because in your head it's the USS MC Escher. So
bridges on this. Like, is it in the flat front part or is it in the saucer part?
Who knows?
It's like we need an emergency team to engineering. Where the fuck is engineering?
Emergency team to engineering, and they turn up in 4 different places.
I keep ending up in the latrines.
Damage to the starboard nacelle. Which one?
Does it split like like the D? Like, can it split? I wonder.
How would we know?
Kinda cool.
Because then like the outer part being like wings, you know what I mean? That flying around, that being the battle part of it, and the rest of it. It's
possible because the Athena does have that going on, but that makes a lot more sense because that looks like it detaches in that way. It doesn't just look like an assemblage of mess.
Mm-hmm. See, if I would have seen it like in action like that, like splitting up to go.
Oh, in action, it's even worse. It makes even less sense to comprehend. Yeah, it appears in it's the cold open of a Discovery season 4 episode or something, and when it first appeared on screen, it's like side on view, and I was like, "What is this? What am I looking at?" Then somebody beams on board. I'm like, "Oh, let's see what the internal configuration looks like." And of course, it's just one of Discovery's corridors because they just reuse the set. Oh, come on!
Sure.
Anyway, I think we can safely say miss since 2 of us are against DK's randomness on that one. Stop just looking at images. Both of you get distracted. The last thing is a random character, which I have no idea why I picked. I just like to be, sometimes a bit random. And I don't think she's come up yet on any of these. So hit or miss for the character of Kayla, which I'm probably mispronouncing. And that is Worf's one-time
okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about before I see the picture.
Yeah,
well, there you go.
Susie Plaxer.
DK, it's over to you first for this one. DK, you want to go first?
Yes, she's a hit. I love this character. Don't give me that Klingon nonsense. I just love that she's her own person. She takes no shit from anyone.
Period.
And she was the last person to actually admit that Alexander is a real person. So,
right?
For that alone, it's like she died, and then everyone forgot who he was.
Look after our son, who is right there, War.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I think it was a fantastic character. Obviously, if they'd had foresight, it would have been nice to have her around a lot longer than she was.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
2 episodes is not enough.
But yeah, as a character, and the fact that she wasn't in it for a great period of time, but she is so memorable a character, I think is a testament to both how well written the character was and Susie's portrayal of the character. And I just think it was a misstep killing her off. I can get why they did it, and obviously, they didn't know how it was gonna go. But standout character, so definitely a hit for me.
No, it is noteworthy that Mary knew exactly who I was talking about from the name, but she's only been in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
To your point, though, DK, I think that she's the reason we got B'Elanna Torres in Voyager. I think that was because they realized, this is an interesting idea for a character, and then did it again. Anyway, Mary, over to you. Hit or miss for Kayla?
Yeah, I mean, she's a hit, obviously. I knew who it was before. I knew by name who she was, which is weird for me, but I loved her. Exactly what DK said. She didn't take no shit from nobody, and she knew exactly who she was, what she wanted, and everything. And I feel like she was the best example of a Klingon woman that didn't fall into stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the Duras sisters, I feel like, yeah. But like, I mean, you get to the Duras sisters and they're very tropey, you know. You get to her and it's a character with some,
Yeah, I think the half human thing is definitely, I think, part of the reason for that. And like I said, I think that's why the makers of Voyager, I think she did walk so that B'Elanna could run, basically, with the whole, you know, yes, I'm visibly Klingon, but I don't want to deal with any of their shit kind of thing, you know? So, yeah. I mean, anything else you wanted to say about that before I just jumped in there?
No, I was just going to say we love an opinionated woman, so let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Hit for me.
Absolutely. It was nice that Worf was always with women that could at least, you know, give him some crap back. You know, whether it be her or Jadzia or whatever, because he needed it. To be honest, and I like the character, but he needed women to be like, "Shut up, dude," every now and then. So, but yeah, hit for me as well for literally exactly the same reasons. The fierce independence, the not taking, you know, not disrespecting Klingon culture, but not just taking it on face value and taking all of the crap. You know, not being the whole like, "Oh, we've mated, we have to get married" kind of thing. Nah, let's not bother with that, Worf. I don't think so. Loved all that, and then like you kind of alluded to, DK, it's Susie Plaxton, who is like a genre legend. What a heck of an actress. You know, she appeared in 2 episodes as Kayla, 1 episode as Dr. Solar of Next Gen, 1 episode of Voyager as the female Q, and so memorable in every one of these roles.
Right.
She also was an Andorian for 2 episodes in Enterprise.
That's right, in Enterprise. I forgot about that. Absolutely, yeah. I'll always know her as Marshall Erickson's mum from How I Met Your Mother as well, because, you know.
Oh, really? I have not watched that show. Is she in that? Oh.
He's one of the main characters' mum, because the ongoing joke is that he's like tall and beefy and quite broad. So his parents are naturally like really tall, you know.
Yeah.
And, so naturally they cast Susie Plaxton to play his mom.
Perfect.
Yeah, really good casting in that show as well, and she's got really good comedic timing as well as. I mean, you can tell from the Q episode she has. I
know the Q episode that she's in is one of my favorite Q episodes too.
Yeah, she's amazing. What are you doing with that dog? I'm not talking about the puppy.
The puppy. The way that she says that, puppy.
Absolutely.
The disdain.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Yeah, I mean, overall, massive hit for Kayla as well. And so that'll conclude the hit or miss section, and we can move on to our main review, if that's all right with everyone else. So, yeah, awesome. So we'll begin our analysis then of this episode.
Spock, analysis.
And that is, as I already said, Bride of Chaotica. In this episode, Voyager becomes stuck in an interdimensional rift as photonic beings from another dimension attempt first contact in the holodeck, meeting the photonic villains of Ensign Paris's Captain Proton program, who promptly attack them. The first thing that caught me off guard there, reading that description from Star Trek Memory Alpha, is I forgot that, of course, he's Ensign Paris at this point. This is that weird period where he was demoted for a random, like, year and a half or something.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Ensign Paris? Oh, yeah, of course. So we have to bear that in mind. Yeah, fair enough. Well, then, the first thing I should do before we go any further is that I do have my poetry corner ready for this, as I've been doing the last few seasons, where I do a limerick and a haiku to sum up the episode as best I can, stolen entirely from the Delta Flyers. Again, shout out if you happen to be listening, Garrett and Robbie. Please don't sue me, as if you would. So yeah, I've got them ready. Did you guys have anything that you prepared, creatively speaking, for this, or is it?
I did. I wrote my own limerick. I didn't know what I was going to do, like what type of poetry I was going to end up with, and then my brain just went into a limerick. So that's where I go.
Oh, that's fantastic, because I had Jason did some limericks for Lower Decks as well last episode, so I'm pleased that people are starting to get involved. So awesome. Well, did you want to go first with your limerick then, and I'll follow you?
Sure. Yeah, no problem. Okay. All right, here's my limerick. Tom and Harry were playing a game. Some photonics did not think the same. Janeway dressed to impress, then cleaned up their mess. For Arachnia's no ordinary dame.
Oh, that is amazing.
I was so proud.
that came together really well. I love that.
I know. I just knew I had to use the word dame in it, and I had to use it to describe either Janeway or Arachnia. I just I knew where I was going. Oh,
I love it. That sums up the episode brilliantly. Keep that saved somewhere because that is very good. I like that. Awesome. So,
I'll send it to you in a message later. You can
absolutely, by all means. Awesome. Well, I'll jump in with mine then. So my limerick for this episode is, let's see. Out of the skies, his rockets ignite. Jets into battle like faster than light. Captain Proton. No, I'm kidding. That's the theme tune to Defenders of the Earth. Sorry, 80s kids. I just couldn't resist the chance to do that. Any chance to bring that theme tune in. That was actually a reference to Flash Gordon. If you're an 80s kid, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And congrats, you now have that song in your head for the next 2 weeks. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up on YouTube and again have it in your head for the next 2 weeks. DK, you must know what I'm on about here, surely.
I know exactly what you're on about, dude.
You watched Defenders of the Earth, didn't you?
I may have caught the odd episode.
Who was your favorite? Flash Gordon, Mandrake, the Magician?
It was Mandrake. It was Mandrake. Yeah, I did want to root for Flash Gordon, but I couldn't get over them painting Ming green. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's very 90s thing. There was 3 or 4 different cartoons that decided to paint Asian characters green. Just let's not go there. That's got nothing to do with this. I do have an actual limerick that I wrote for this episode that isn't just me copying the Defenders of the Earth theme. So I promise I'll give you that one. So mine is probably not as good as Mary's, but I tried to sum it up as best I could for the episode. And it is, photonic aliens think the holodeck is real life, and it's causing the Voyager no end of strife. For the ship to come unglued, Janeway needs new attitude in the role of Chaotica's new wife.
I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm quite fond of that one. So awesome. Well, I do have a haiku, but I'll do that after we do the behind the scenes BTS stuff. Because I don't want to pile everyone a bunch of poetry all at once. So I'll come back to that. And DK, I believe you have our initial behind the scenes stuff for this episode. So do you want to grab that and take it away?
Yeah. I've got a limerick actually. Sorry.
Oh, do you? Oh, I'm sorry. I should have asked. I just assumed you wouldn't have done. I'm so sorry.
Harrison came go a playing while Chaotica goes mad with the slaying. Watch the dot get involved, the photonics absolved, while Janeway without coffee is fraying.
Oh, we've all crushed this.
You got the coffee in there.
Yep. Oh man, Kate Mulgrew with like coffee first and then one sip and okay. I love it. That was fantastic, man. Thanks for that. I really appreciate you jumping in on that one. Awesome.
Cheers.
Wasn't expecting that, but yeah. Oh, fantastic stuff. Yeah, do share those with me, and I'll make sure people hear them because that's a great. All right. And yeah, in the meantime, behind the scenes for Bride of Chaotica, let's go.
Yeah, the episode largely takes place on the holodeck, which is running a holo program in black and white instead of the usual color. This was because of a small fire to the bridge set that had occurred while the episode was in production. As a result, the bridge scenes were shot weeks later after the set was repaired, and scenes that were originally set for the bridge were either entirely rewritten or set on a different part of the ship. The episode satirizes numerous elements of the classic 1936 film serial Flash Gordon and classic 1939 film serial Buck Rogers. Chaotica's death ray was previously seen as a weapon in the forests of Minos in the Star Trek The Next Generation episode, The Arsenal of Freedom. Chaotica's throne was previously used as Minister Odala's chair in Distant Origin, as well as the alien throne in the 1993 movie Coneheads.
Oh, that's some great
No way!
VFX supervisor Mitch Suskin noted that Captain Proton's rocket ship, which was designed by visual effects producer Dan Curry, looks much like the Flash Gordon ship, and that the visual effects artist chose to represent the Fortress of Doom's exterior by intentionally making repeated reuses of a certain angle of the fortress, whose outside was actually a digital matte painting done by Eric Chauvin. The Bride of Chaotica is also a science fiction film referenced in the Star Trek Enterprise episode Progenitor. Wow. When Paris and Tuvok meet the photonic alien on board Captain Proton's ship, he introduces Tuvok as a lieutenant, even though he was promoted to lieutenant commander more than a year prior in Revulsion.
Yeah, I think we've established we don't know anybody's rank at this point.
No. Just as Dr. Chaotica warns at the end of the episode, he does indeed make a return appearance, specifically in the Season 7 installment, Shattered. And the book Star Trek 101 by Terry J. Erdman and Paula M. Block list this episode as one of the 10 essential episodes from Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. This and the episode before it, which is incredible for different reasons. Latent Images, the one that comes right before this one. So,
honestly, this one was also, what was it, 2 episodes before with Counterpoint, too? Like, they had a run of really good episodes in Season 5.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a good season. It was. Well, I mean, I love all of Voyager, as you know.
I know, right?
that run was especially good. So, awesome. Well, I'll give you my haiku now then, because it's not particularly exciting or amusing, but I tried to stick to the 575 thing at the very least. So hopefully, I'm gathering up them and I might put them in a book again someday. You never know. So my haiku to sum up Pride of Chaotica is, "Hollow invaders, not from the 5th dimension. Janeway hams it up."
No, that's good. That's really good.
I like
that. Awesome. Right. Well, I think we can start to dive into the actual exploration of the various parts of the episode then. But before we do that, I'd like to go around and just ask if you can remember the first time you saw the episode, what your initial experiences were, if you recall them, and what your overall, as spoiler-free as possible thoughts are on the episode in general. And again, Mary, you're our guest, so if you'd like to go first with that, if you have any initial thoughts on the episode.
I don't remember exactly what I thought the first time that I watched it. I think at that point in time, I was just so enamored with Voyager because I was watching it with my then boyfriend, now ex-husband. Wow. And just loving Voyager, just front to back. And I'm sure that when I saw this, I had already developed my Janeway crush. And I think that this just solidified it even harder. And so every time I watch this episode, it is 100% for Kate Mulgrew, and she's just everything to me. And this episode just makes that, just drives it harder in.
Yeah, it's inspired, it really is, and I'll talk about it when we get to the acting, because there's a lot of little touches, I think, in the Arachnia thing, which is just, it is the highlight of the episode, basically. Not to spoil the lead, but it is what we're, it is the title character in a lot of ways, isn't it? So that's what we're leading towards. So awesome. So what about you, DK? Any initial kind of thoughts on the episode?
I only saw it a few years ago in a strange parallel to Mary. I watched it for the first time with my now ex-wife.
With Mary's ex-husband?
Yeah, he gets around a bit. And I'll be completely honest with you. It was the first time I'd done a full watch through of Voyager, and the episodes I'd seen every once in a while on TV were nothing to me but cures for insomnia. But watching right from the start, I developed, I kind of got attached to the crew, and Janeway, although I didn't like her at first, grew on me immensely. So by the time it got to this episode, I was just so on board and with the character, and she just played this fantastic. I'd heard a lot about the episode, and you know what it's like when you hear good things about it, your expectations are raised, and you expect to come away thinking, oh well, wasn't that great, really. But this was just tremendous fun. Really enjoyed it. I think this is the first time, only the second time I've watched it after that first watch through.
Oh, I've watched this so many times. That's one of my.
I know, this is one I pick out just like at random and be like, yep.
Yep. Oh, for sure, definitely. This and Message in a Bottle, oddly enough. Even though I'm not the greatest fan of Andy Dick, but I just love that episode. And
honestly, it is a fun episode. Yes.
But awesome. But yeah, my initial impressions, I had no idea this was coming in terms of, I was watching Voyager as it went out. I was actually buying the videotapes. That's how long ago it was. I was. It was when it was coming out, so it would have been late 90s probably. So I was taking my money that I got from babysitting and buying whichever videotapes of DS9 and Voyager were out that week. 2 episodes per videotape for about £14, which is insane nowadays.
How many babysitting gigs did you have?
I would made roughly around £40 or £50 a month, but that basically went entirely on Star Trek videos.
Holy shit! I worked at a game and I didn't get that much.
Well, you know, you should have been family friends with Helen Morris from up the road. But yeah, no, anyway, so I was watching them as they came, and obviously at this point we'd seen the Proton Holo program because it had debuted at the start of season 5, but only in one of those, like, you know, brief cold open, you know, small scene intro things. And I remember liking it then because I'm a massive fan of all things sci-fi. Ever since I was little, it was the first thing that I ever got hooked on was, you know, really geeky science fiction. You know, the 1980 Flash Gordon movie, the old-timey Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers serials and stuff. So I kind of hoped it would come back in some way, but didn't expect there was going to be a whole episode around it. And when it happened, I just absolutely just fell in love with it anyway, even before you got to the ridiculous kind of Janeway hammy acting type stuff, because I was kind of the annoying, like, clapping along kid in the seat that was like, I recognize every one of these stupid things, the daft robot, the kind of repeated sets, the dumb ideas, the over-the-top villain, you know, like, this is like an episode that's been made just for me. And like I said, the fact that it was on a videotape with latent image, at which point I was, you know, emotionally devastated and ready to laugh, I think, as well, was probably a bit beneficial. So yeah, I just absolutely loved the episode. And I mean, you're kind of similar to me in a lot of geeky ways, DK. Were you a fan of those old sci-fi stuff? Did this bring back any memories of those?
I know it's incredibly sad, but as soon as I saw this episode, I just went, Tom is wearing the costume from King of the Rocket Man.
Wow, that's even worse than me. Awesome. Yeah. See, I do proudly own the little Eagle Moss model of Captain Proton's rocket ship. It's one of my favorites.
I didn't know they made one. Aww.
Oh, yeah. You can probably get it for around £10 on eBay. Now it's not that expensive. It was one of the smaller ones they did, but it's so cool.
That is adorable.
I'm surprised that it wasn't featured in the episode more, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. No, I mean, but again, I think that's more of a reference to back in the day, they wouldn't have the budget for that kind of thing, model shots and stuff. So they would have had to they'd be very sparing with them, if you know what I mean. And I appreciate the meta aspect of that, I guess. I was in the episode as a whole, actually. I think it was very kind of authentic to that era whilst still being Star Trek, which I've said the same about the Bashir Bond parody and various other things as well. I think the holodeck episodes are very good at that. They can play in this genre without not, feeling like we've stepped out of Star Trek now, kind of thing. So awesome. Well, I'll give you a tiny bit of information about the writing of this then. The episode co-writer Brian Fuller found the writing of the episode to be very enjoyable, later remarking, Bride of Chaotica, which I wrote with Mike Taylor, was just a blast to write. We watched hours of old Flash Gordon serials and just got into the genre and had some fun. The episode's development was also a thrill for supervising producer Kenneth Biller, who was involved in the episode's rewrite process in an uncredited capacity. He reminisced, it was fun to write that inflated language and come up with funny gags and funny dialogue. It was fun to do a kind of comic romp. Yeah, I think it's fair to say that's basically what it is. So, I'm going to throw it open and say, are there any highlights of the writing in the episode that particularly stand out to you? And Mary, I'm coming to you first for that one.
Are we talking about the writing? Okay.
Yeah, just anything that kind of the episode does, any of the plots, any of the little references or Easter eggs, if there's anything that you like specifically.
Well, I'm not as well-versed in those old serials or anything like that, like you guys. I just really like, I have a general knowledge of it. Yeah. So just seeing that kind of stuff, I like throwbacks to, like older types of science fiction and stuff. So I really love that. But, in particular, I've got to say, I think as far as the writing goes, every Tuvok line is a killer. They just knew when to put in that straight, why are you guys doing this? Basically, this is ridiculous. Just perfect.
There's a few moments like that because there's obviously
when he's reading what I was going to say is when he's when Tom is reading the message from the president of Earth, and then Tuvok just says stop. He tells him to stop.
Like, blah, 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 stop.
Summarize,
blah, blah,
please.
Stop, blah, blah, stop. Please summarize. So we could have perhaps done with a bit more of that, because anytime it's kind of like the really logical characters that are pushing up against the play acting, it's kind of a funny juxtaposition. But I also liked the attempts to take this seriously. So when Paris is being interviewed by Janeway, I was like, so let's get this straight. Photonic beings are, being held captive in the fortress of, yes, ma'am, his fortress of doom. He plays it so deadly straight.
This is what you do in your spare time.
Didn't he say something like, and she said something else, and she's like, his Legion of Evil or something along that line too. And
his army of evil. Yeah.
I feel like right there, and I know we're not talking about the acting, but when I looked at his face, I was like, I feel like this was a line or an area where they had to do this multiple times because he laughed every time he said this.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't at all. I have to say, since we're on that scene as well, one of the things I do like about this writing is the clever subversion of the idea, because by this point, it kind of really exploited the crap out of 7 of 9. So I was fully expecting, as Janeway clearly is, when she looks over, like, who's going to take on the role of this Arachnia? And she looks straight at 7 of 9. And they're all like laser focused on her. And like, no, Captain, it's going to be the role of a lifetime. And I'm like, oh, so clever that you're not actually just falling for the lowest common denominator of like, ooh, let's get Jerry Ryan in a skimpy dress. Like, nope, not this week for once.
Right. She actually has a surprisingly small part in this episode.
Yeah,
Jerry
exactly,
Ryan does.
Yep. Yeah, she's there, but you see, it's really only a minor role. But is there anything from the writing that stands out to you as clever or interesting, or a nice little reference, TK?
I did like the whole kind of meta subtext in that scene where Paris is, trying to justify the fact of what he's doing to Janeway when she says, this is what you do with your time, and he instantly comes up with that. Yeah, I'm studying, Earth kind of entertainment.
How fast society's viewed the future.
And before being a nerd became kind of cool, we've all done that. We've all just said, it's for more serious matters. I can take it or leave it. So I did that like that.
That gives you the most glorious pun in the episode as well, because it's like he says, I'm studying how past societies viewed the future, and then Jamie goes, oh, and what have you found out from your research? Well, let's just say things weren't as black and white as people thought. I was like, oh my God, you actually went there.
So on the nose.
I do like as well, it's a similar kind of thing to the Tuvok saying stop. I love it when the robot's just hamming it up completely, and he's going, invasion, and then Paris
invaders from the 5th dimension,
and he just goes, invasion, and just like wanders off.
That's my favorite thing. Me and my friend Stephen Brown used to watch our Star Trek videos and stuff together, and that was our takeaway from this. We went around for weeks going, invaders from the 5th dimension, shut up, invaders.
Yeah.
It's crestfallen, like invaders for the 5th dimension.
And it's a very, very sad and nerdy thing, but when they said, if we're gonna deactivate the lightning field, and I just heard Queen's Flash Gordon playing in the back of my head.
Oh, if only. It would have fit. It really would have fit perfectly. But no, I mean, there's some things about the writing that I wanted to bring up that you've already kind of mentioned a few of them. I like that they kind of keep to the comedic tone without it being ridiculous, because you've already mentioned the kind of Janeway coffee thing. That's really funny, actually. The way she just won't even address Neelix, and they've got no resources, but she's not having any of it. Like, nope, I'm having coffee. I don't care.
Right. I feel like it's a defining moment for her. Like, we got in this funny episode, Janeway's character defining moment.
Exactly. But then even in the same scene, you kind of go into it, and it's a serious matter, but it kind of matches the comedic tone when Neelix is like, well, replicators aren't the only thing. We've only got 2 or 3 lavatories for a crew of like 150, and things are getting a bit stacked up, especially considering the Bolians.
Yup. We learned a little bit more about Bolians that day.
Absolutely. But I think this is like the first time, and possibly one of the only times, that Star Trek ever mentioned like lavatories. Like, they must have them, but they never come up, and yet it matches the kind of comedy perfectly. I love it. I mean, what else can you say? I've written down that black and white line. This is probably an acting thing as much as a writing, but the way Janeway sits on the throne and just says, somehow I feel comfortable here. It's very good. And I do like the idea that, the safeties aren't actually off. because that's such an easy go-to, which they do in every other holodeck episode. So they say, like, yeah, you can't be hurt by weapons fire, but you can still be restrained. So there's still a kind of there's still a risk factor there. And that's literally exactly what happens. It's the containment rings or whatever. It's like, oh crap, because they shoot at her and she's like, your purity weapons, destroy Arachnia or whatever. So I was like, okay, that's a clever way of not just doing like, the safeties are down, you got to take it seriously, kind of thing. So I appreciate that as well. I mean, along with the idea that they were photonic life forms, which was a clever concept of like, will they think the holodeck's real because they are that kind of life. So obviously that's something that would go on to play a much bigger part in Starfleet Academy, the whole photonic life thing, not to spoil anything, but yeah, and I quite like the ingenious idea of like, they don't think we're real because they're photonic. We have a photonic character, let's send the Doctor. He can be the president of Earth, they'll register him, so again, quite an ingenious little idea. And I liked Robert Picardo kind of hamming it up as the president of Earth as well.
As you knew he would.
Oh, yeah. Isn't anyone going to sing Hail to the Chief? I'm considering running for office when we get back to Earth. Getting carried away. But, yeah, I love it. And the last thing I have is the joke about press the button in the middle of that panel. Other panel! A dumb joke, but it did make me laugh. So, yeah, awesome. So, anything else about the writing of the episode that I haven't mentioned or that you guys haven't brought up that you wanted to shout out?
I just think it was a really great homage to what it was essentially taking the mick out of. And I think that's, I don't want to keep going back to it because, frankly, the episode should be burned. But I think that's where this episode and Adventure Hour differ. This was kind of making fun of an earlier form of science fiction, but it kind of did it with reverence. There was no nastiness towards it, whereas I think the other episode did.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you, and I think it's not necessarily related to this, but I think it's also true with Lower Decks. Like, they poke fun at Star Trek in the way that this does at old science fiction, but they never do it with a kind of meanness. As you said, it's always kind of an affectionate ribbing of like, we all know the kind of silly aspects and the tropes, and we acknowledge them, and it's the same here. Right. It's like, yeah, we acknowledge that there are daft aspects of old-timey science fiction. They didn't always get things right, but it was still enjoyable and it was still fun. And there's nothing wrong with that kind of thing. Even if we're a little bit embarrassed at times, it's kind of...
I honestly could still watch stuff like that these days.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I still do. We watched the 1980 Flash Gordon. You saw me give it 5 stars for our film podcast. I love that movie, dude. I know it's objectively probably not very good, but I don't care. I just have such fun with it.
It's just... You look at things like that, and it's just great fun.
Exactly, Yeah, I mean, it's not supposed to be taken seriously. It's not going to be hard science, and it's not like, realism or whatever, but it's just fun. And it is the first time you get into science fiction if you're me. When you're young, it's like, ooh, rocket ships and lasers and death rays and stuff, before you start, getting your full-on technical manual of the Enterprise D and learning how the warp core works and crap like that.
Okay, Mike, calm down now. Go and have put a flannel on your head.
Coffee black. Anyway, yeah. Well, we'll leave the writing there then, but we can always talk about it if anything else comes up, and we'll move to the acting. I think there's the next section because there's lots we can say about that, and I think, DK, that you do have a little bit of background information about that you can share with us.
I do, yeah. Just let me get that on my phone because it seems to close the window for no reason. Kate Mulgrew was delighted to perform Janeway's turn as Queen Arachnia, commenting, "That was the greatest fun. That was just wild fun. That was cut loose fun time. I mean, those opportunities are few and far between for the captain. And I think everybody said, oh, well, let's just let Kate have a ball. And I did." Mulgrew also remarked, "I was the bride of Chaotica, only the funniest man I have ever met in my life. When he electrocuted himself, I wet my pants. It was just outrageous. And I go to seduce him. It's a cartoon. I was playing a 40s movie star. It was outrageous. It was so much fun, and I hope the viewers liked it as much as I liked doing it. I loved the double punch. I loved the curve, and when there was a little levity attached to it, heaven."
Yep, we're all with you, Kit.
Yep.
Ken Biller, however, had a problem with the installment. I thought that while Kate Mulgrew's performance in the episode was, at certain points, a wonderful comic performance, I think that there was a mistake either in the performance choices or in the direction of it, Biller criticised. Captain Janeway playing Queen Arachnia made sense up to a certain point. There was a point at which clearly she had gotten what she needed to get. For some odd, and I thought unexplained reason, she continued to assume this role as opposed to being Captain Janeway. Wearing the costume, finishing up the mission, I just thought it got over the top.
Boo.
It was Ken that played Chaotica.
No, Ken Biller was the one of the writers and the executive producer for the last couple seasons of Voyager.
Oh, right. I think that's a very odd criticism. Oh, well.
I agree. I think the whole point is she's having fun. She got lost in the role. You're allowed.
Yeah, I feel like even she let herself go for a second just to see the story through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Having been very eager to work on the Captain Proton set, Tuvok actor Tim Russ was thrilled when the time came for him to do so. It was very nice to be able to go in for a minute under the auspices of investigating what was going on that wasn't quite right about it, and be able to work on the set and be able to see it back in black and white. I thought it was very cool, Russ enthused. I really enjoyed having an opportunity to do that. Tim Russ also appreciated that this episode allowed him to perform some comedy. He laughed. Between the robot and Paris, there is a lot to play off of there. Quite a bit, actually. Paris is so careless and so off-center, it works very well against Tuvok's straight and linear way of doing things. Chaotica was a prime example, and the writers gave me several zingers to throw in.
Yep, we already talked about, I think, the primary example of that. The telegram stop moment was pretty cool. So, yeah, I think, I mean, I can't disagree with anything there. I think I'm with Kate Mulgrew. I think we all, viewing it, genuinely loved it as much as she clearly had a great time playing it. And it's good to hear, But, yeah, I don't want to dive in with my thoughts straight away. So, again, I'll ask you first, Mary. Is there anything about the acting of any of the people in this episode that stands out that you wanted to mention?
So something that when I was watching it the most recent time, and it was right at the beginning, that stuck out to me just because I think that this was them kind of hamming it up for, okay, hear me out. So Tom and Harry are on the ship and they're doing their thing. And Harry notices that, like none of that stuff happened to us before. And he's like, just go with it. So then they're like going to crash. And Tom says whatever is broken and he slams on the panel. And Harry looks at him and slams on the panel too. Like thinking that percussive maintenance will somehow fix it or something like he's trying to do because he doesn't know as much as Tom does. So you can see that it's like Harry doing what Harry, Harry doesn't know, trying to do what Tom does because Tom knows, well, maybe Tom is doing something right. And then he does it. And then it's like Tom gives him a quick look like, what are you doing? It's so fast. And I know that's got to be, like that's just actors acting. I don't think it was written in or anything like that. But just that quick interchange right there, completely, nonverbal, was hilarious to me because you could just tell that Harry doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't understand all of this stuff. He is just following Tom's lead.
I was just going to say, I'll jump in quickly on this one and say that I agree. And there's another moment when it's the way Garrett Wang plays Harry, as you said, is just kind of like Tom's taking it seriously and trying to kind of do the serious role player kind of role. And Harry's just having an absolute blast. So it's when Harry says, you won't get away with this, and then just smiles so broadly and looks at them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, did I do good? Did I say the line?
I did it. That's how they act, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like Tom's fully taking it in, and Harry's like, yeah. I'm having fun. Yeah, I love it. Anything else? Sorry, I just wanted to add that about Garrett Wang. Yeah.
I don't have any others like right now and off the top of my head. Okay, I'm sure you guys will say stuff.
No worries. Yeah, no worries. DK, then over to you. Anything you wanted to mention about the acting of the performances in the episode?
I do like, and you'll have to forgive me because I don't know his name, the guy playing Chaotica.
Martin Rayner.
Yeah, he really did channel his inner Ming.
He's fantastic. Yeah. He is so good.
So good. He's so good.
Yeah, there was, he trod that fine line between overacting and just, rent a ghost. And I think he did it really, really well.
Yeah, I wish I could remember the name. I don't know if I looked it up, or if I did, I can't remember. But the name of his like subordinate as well, who also pitches his performance perfectly in the same way.
Yeah.
Oh, Chaotica, proton, and I will get you. And then gets seduced by the pheromones, and he's like, "Oh, and capture me in your web." Like really over the top henchman character kind of thing. So yeah, I think the holodeck characters are all played well, both of them at least. Well, no, all because the robot as well. I think are all played to kind of the perfection of this, stereotype idea without being overly silly or overly like, okay.
Yeah, I did like Satan's robot a good bit. I thought that was really funny.
I love that it actually does work on old school principles as well, because Tom's like, oh, it looks like you burned out a resistor. Like, what? That's a few years before duotronic circuitry or whatever. I'm like, does it actually work with like 50s technology? Like, what the heck, man?
Just got to switch out the fuse there.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, anything else you wanted to add here, or can I just jump in with a bit of my acting praise?
No, go for it, dude.
Well, I was going to say the same as you, so I don't need to say anything about Martin Rayner. I think is fantastic, and I've mentioned Garrett Wong. But I have to say, we've already said Kate Mulgrew is great, but there's so many little moments that I love. And there's one moment, which is, I think, one moment that sums it up perfectly, which is that she copies the whipping the microphone cable that she sees Chaotica do when she picks up the mic.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there is no good reason to do that except that she saw Chaotica do it, and it's like a dramatic flourish. And so when she goes to like announce that the shield's down, she does the same. Yeah, shields. Yep, that is absolutely perfect. So she's so good, Kate Mulgrew, in this, and I think, like you said, everybody basically does such a good job. There's not really much for most of these sort of, other characters to do. They're all fair enough, your Beltrans, your Dawsons, your Jerry Ryans. They're all doing their weekly jobs, but they're not really in this for much. And we've already mentioned, like I said, Rob Picardo doing a little bit of a nice comedic turn there as the president of Earth as well. So yeah. Anything else I think you wanted to add about the acting, or should we move to direction and VFX production design?
I'm just going to say that, we're talking about Kate, and it's, it's not just how she delivers her lines, but it's her facial. It's just something I think that the actress, that Kate, is just really good at. She can act with her face in incredible ways. And even like, there was like little like wrist flicks and things like that when she was doing Arachnia. I just love how she does it. Just her eyes, her rolling. When she drinks her coffee with a Neelix, okay?
He takes the pause,
So she takes that pause, like you see, on like everybody who enjoys coffee, they have that moment. And I'm not a coffee drinker, but I know what that moment looks like. And it's like, wait, coffee first. She takes a drink. Her eyes are still closed. She savors it. Okay, she is so good at the nonverbal. I love her.
She's great. I have to say, she also has really good comic timing for who is ostensibly a dramatic actress. I don't think she's done a lot of comedy, and yet there's moments like when she's like, well, I don't know how to tell you this, Zap, but the wedding's off. Like, that is actually a really well delivered little kind of comedic line, punctuated with the blaster Zap.
I know these episodes are kind of not looked down on, but from they're seen as ephemera to an extent because they are lighthearted. But it's in these episodes that you really get to see the actors' range, and I think that especially works with Kate in this one.
Yeah,
I completely agree. And I'm going to mention this because it's something that I've seen a few times. I wish I knew who these people were, but I've seen cosplayers who have met some of the Voyager cast, and they cosplay as Chaotica and Arachnia, including somehow in complete black and white, like just in makeup.
Yes.
And I don't know how they do it, but they are incredible. If you get a chance to look it up, do look for just like, I don't know, Chaotica cosplayers or something, because they do such an incredible job. And it must be a like head to toe makeup job on them to make them look, monochrome in that way. But God, so good. So, I might meet them one day. You never know.
Have you? Side note: have you seen? Oh gosh, now I can't remember what the artist's name is, but she just finished a painting of Arachnia. It was like a commissioned. No. Retrospect Studios is what her account is in most places, on Facebook specifically. But yeah, she just finished within this last month or so a commission painting of Arachnia, and it is fantastic. Fantastic. Just,
what did you say? Was
just saying. So Arachnia has been on the brain lately for me, just because she's been showing her progress, and yeah.
Oh, I found that when you're talking about the Arachnia painting. Wow, that's so impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's incredible. Do that up. Retrospect Studios Arachnia was all I typed in, and it comes up, and incredible work. She's really good, actually.
She's super good. So talented.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for that. I'll bookmark that one to look at when we're not podcasting. I'll move on to the directing and the VFX production design. I've kind of grouped it all together to get it through as quick as I can. And I've got a tiny bit more to do with the kind of production of this episode to start with. So Mitch Suskin supervised the visual effects of this outing, and remembered that the lead up to the making of the episode was exciting, saying, I think everybody knew it was going to be really fun to work on, so it emulates the 1940s serial look without being completely over the top. Set decorator James Mees found that the episode's production was highly enjoyable, later reminiscing, we had a great time on Captain Proton and Bride of Chaotica. To rethink things so that they would photograph properly in black and white was amazing. And the Fortress of Doom's interior was designed to look highly expansive. Production designer Richard James remarked, when we did the palace, that gave us a chance to even do a bigger scale and everything. And of course, we went for as big a scale as we could achieve. I think we went pretty high with some of the columns and so forth. So, yeah, I mean, what else can you say? Any thoughts on the directing or the VFX, the various production elements of the episode, Mary, that you wanted to mention?
Visual. No, I really liked how they leaned in on the old fashioned look for the, Captain Proton stuff. And also, and I don't know if this probably isn't, maybe it is, but the costuming of the Fifth Dimension guys, just how they showed up looking right, with their kind of spy guys, 50s spy
fully
guys,
pressed suits and top hats.
I mean, they were ready to go. I just thought it was great. I don't know who those actors were, but those first two guys that showed up, they were awesome. I love them. Yeah. But I love I love what they showed up in the suits. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Hats,
costuming definitely is worth mentioning in this section. And I think overall, as you say, I mean, the things like Chaotica's costume or the Arachnia dress, or as DK mentioned, Captain Proton's costume borrowed from somewhere else, are all really good, either literal or good mock-ups of things that would have existed in those 30s and 40s serials, and just so good, so authentic.
I actually do like that, rather than just, kind of making it up, they did take elements from actual serials.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, yeah.
Because I can just imagine that costume being hung up in the Paramount lot somewhere, and, getting that out and trying that and thinking, oh my God.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I forgot to mention it earlier as well, but they make fun of one of the tropes of the old serials, but it's also something that Star Trek does at the very start when Harry's like, oh, this planet looks an awful lot like the Mines of Mercury that we were in last week.
Yeah.
And Tom's like, well, they didn't have a lot of money for sets back then. And I'm just like, this is exactly like the Planet Hell set that just stood on stage B of Paramount, and they used for every planet. in DS9 and Voyager, it was whenever you needed to go somewhere, oh, that's a standing set, that'll do. So they're still doing that in the 90s, even taking the mick out of it. So yeah.
It was very meta for them to do that. And then, to go on in Lower Decks and make fun of all the caves too. So it's
caves, exactly, yeah. Absolutely. Awesome. I kind of just want to echo what we've all said. First of all, I don't think it can be underestimated quite how clever it was, and to literally settle on the idea of making everything in the holodeck black and white. It's probably best not to think about how you do that, because it's really confusing as to how is a person made black and white in that? I've had sessions where I've tried to think about that and then just been I don't care anymore. It doesn't matter. It makes you look that way. Let's not worry about how. It's force fields or whatever. But I do love that, and I love that it kind of matches that aesthetic and everything so perfectly, because it does. It adds that layer of authenticity. And, it wasn't this episode that started it. We'd already seen the Captain Proton program, but it was just a nice touch. And again, can't be underestimated how important it was. And I do like that the director also decided to do very old-timey scene transitions. I feel that was very noticeable. He did like every old school type of like star wipe and then, wobbly transition and zoom out and everything that you would have, every George Lucas wet dream in the scene transitions that you could possibly make. So I really appreciated all of that as well. And that's my 2 cents on all of those things. So anything else on the directing, production design, or the visual effects?
No, I had some thoughts on sound.
Well, yeah, that was going to be next, music and sound. So take it away.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So what I was going to say is one thing I really liked was the tinniness of the soundtrack, under Captain Proton's stuff and everything. But then also when they saw the first portals open up, how it transitioned to that fuller Voyager sound, the Voyager. I was like, oh yeah, it's so good. But my favorite thing about it all was that every time they went over to the black and white stuff, every time they went to the holodeck, you could hear that the soundtrack was still playing. So you knew that the program was still running. It's almost like that was like its working noise. And I just like, wow.
Yeah,
so
and
fun.
there was, I don't know if it was just me, but it also sounded a little bit like, this is going to sound insulting, but it sounded like it was not in quite as good quality. Like it was old 1930s, like a cassette tape playing it back kind of thing. But deliberately, not like just like, oh, this is bad, but like it was kind of slightly faded and slightly tinny, like those old sort of scores would be, So,
like almost even a little poppy, you know what I mean? Like some pops and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, definitely, like crackles and sort of interference and things, yeah, for sure. Well, I have a bit on the music. Well, speaking of it, the music for the episode was written by David Bell in the style of 1940s movie serials, and a year after the episode was broadcast, selections of the score were released on the Best of Star Trek Volume 2 by GNP Crescendo Records. The 4 tracks are presented as suites and total 12 minutes and 17 seconds of music. So if you do enjoy that, that's where you can get it.
Nice.
I specifically made a note of that. So. You what, sorry?
I'm tempted.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why I noted it down. I was like, I might look and see if that's available on the second-hand market for cheap somewhere. That's pretty cool. So yeah, DK, you like your music and your sound effect. Anything that you wanted to mention?
I just think it was the verisimilitude for the episode. I just think it worked a treat. I can't complain whatsoever, and it switched. Obviously, it switched from the standard kind of musical score that you get when they were on board the ship and that kind of thing, and then once they were onto the holodeck, it just switched up, and it was just. You do get the impression watching it, and from the score, it was just a fun thing to work on, and I think that shines through.
Yeah, definitely, and I would echo exactly what you said and what Mary said as well. That it was kind of clever that it was being like a 1940s serial, and then the moment the kind of anomalies appeared because they were in color, it was like color had intruded on the program, so the music was almost coming through with the color and intruding. Like this was Star Trek interfering with the Captain Proton program in that way and invading it, I guess. So yeah, I appreciated all that as well. So. Awesome. So, any last thoughts on anything then before I go to the critics and audience response and then give our final favorite things and thoughts?
No, I just love that you can tell that the cast and crew had a really good time with it. It's evident.
Oh, definitely. Yes, it is. It is much more fun when you know they've enjoyed themselves for sure. Awesome. Well, I'll go to the next section then, which is going to be what I call subspace communications.
Incoming transmission.
And this is where I put out something on social media and ask what you thought of the episode. I've had a handful of responses for this, certainly a lot better than the one response I got for the Lower Decks episodes. But as I've been saying every week, if you see my social media prompt, please respond. I do, need your thoughts. I'm interested to hear what other people think. Don't worry about not being popular opinion. We're happy to share. We don't jump down your throat for a wrong opinion or something we don't agree with here. So please share it and let's talk Star Trek. Doesn't matter if it's during the episode or after, but ideally beforehand so that we can record it and put it in the episode. And to that end, I do have some things like I said on this one. So starting with Blue Sky, let's see. Terry Long at .bluesky.social says. Captain Proton is definitely one of Voyager's silly ideas, but it's hard not to like this episode, especially Janeway dining on the scenery. From Northeast Retro Den or NERD, Geo Klingon Hutchinson says, nice bit of light relief, sci-fi of old, 8 out of 10. From Cult Cinema and TV, these are on Facebook, by the way. Robert Paulson says, fantastic episode. It's obvious everyone's having a blast, as we literally just said. From our Discord, Frank Fury 74 says, I thought it was a fun episode based off the old sci-fi classics. This episode showed some acting chops of Kate Mulgrew as Queen Arachnia. 3.6 out of 5. Maybe a little low, but fair enough. I agree with the sentiment. And on, I think it was the Reds, maybe Philly_Dragonfly commented, I loved the episodes. One thing I loved about Voyager is that it had such a balanced blend of seriousness and humor. And I think that was it for the audience, but I do have a critic response because I've been trying to kind of fill it out with this and, give us a view of what the episode was viewed like in the critics community at the time. So in 2012, Den of Geek ranked Bride of Chaotica as the 5th best episode of Voyager. In 2014, IO9 ranked it as the 100th out of 100 of the best of over 700 episodes of the Trek television franchise. Put my teeth in. In 2019, Comic Book Resources rated Bride of Chaotica as the 2nd most funny episode of all Star Trek. Don't know what the number 1 was, but I'm guessing Trouble with Tribbles. I looked and couldn't find it. Danny Ross, writing for Sci-Fi Wire in 2017, ranked this the 3rd best episode that Brian Fuller wrote for. They felt it's campy, hilarious, hysterical, brilliant, and an absolute joy, and said it might be the best holodeck episode. In 2019, Comic Book Resources ranked Bride of Chaotica as the best holodeck episode of all Star Trek. In 2021, they highlighted this episode as an example of the series having fun with its goofier side. And in 2021, Tor.com rated this 10 out of 10, remarking this is simply an enjoyable episode of Star Trek, despite some misgivings about it making sense, and commending Mulgrew for a stupendous performance. So, I mean, pretty much universal praise, I would say. There's nobody seemingly with any real heavy criticism of the episode there. So, yeah, we'll see what we think. But before we dive in with our conclusions and scores, I do like to go around and ask our favorite character, moment, and line of the episode. Let's see. Mary, are you okay if I ask you this first?
Sure. My favorite character in it would be Captain Janeway as Arachnia. But my favorite moment is right when she walks away from him, away from Tom in the corridor when she's about to get dressed up as Arachnia, and he's like, "You're the queen," just like that, like that.
Remember,
that,
you're the queen.
And that line, it's just sets it up so good. Yeah. So good.
Awesome. Cool. So any other thoughts? Anything else you wanted to shout out, or is that it?
I mean, I am an unabashed big fan of this episode. There's just so much to it for me. There's the absolute serious side of it. Like, there's something going on. The ship is stuck. Why is it stuck? And then it's like, are you serious? It's Tom's holodeck program.
Awesome. Cool.
So
we'll come back for your final conclusions and score out of 5 then in a second. But DK, we need your favorite things first of all.
Favorite character, I think it's going to be across the board here, but my favorite character is Janeway. Favorite line, it's so small, but coffee first. Just the way she did it.
Cool.
And
okay.
Favorite moment, I think favorite moments, the smashing the robot on the head.
You've literally stolen mine. You've stolen 2 out of 3 of mine here. Yeah, I'll just dive in and say, my first choice for character, Kate Mulgrew as Janeway, I've said, is a great example of how easily this could have gone wrong. Arachnia could have tipped into something ridiculous or flat, but instead she lands it exactly right, elevating the entire concept. My favorite moment is Paris's increasing exasperation with the robot, which you've literally just said, the kind of banging it over the head. The first thing I want to do is delete this guy kind of thing. So I love that. And my favorite line, I've actually written it down. It's mostly in the delivery, which I probably won't do as well, but I have it here in word for word form. So it is, let me get this straight. Transdimensional aliens have mistaken your Captain Proton simulation for reality. Yes, ma'am. And now an armed conflict has broken out between these aliens and Chaotica's holographic army. Yes, ma'am. His army of evil. It's the absolutely deadpan, flat way he delivers. His army of evil. Yeah. Love it. So, Well, then that's almost going to do it. We just need to give our conclusion and our scores out of 5 stars for this episode. And Mary, are you happy to go first for that?
Sure. Like, again, one of my favorite. I love Voyager. I'm a super fan for Voyager. Love this episode. Like we had said earlier, I go back to this one when I'm just picking out something to watch, and I will go back and watch this one for fun. This is undeniably a 5-star,
Awesome.
5 stars for me. I love this one.
Fantastic. I will note that down, and then DK, it's over to you if you don't mind for your conclusion and score.
Yeah, sure. Fantastic little breather episode, but works so well. It's a brilliant pastiche / homage to those old serials. But not only does it do it, it does it with reverence, and it works. Every single element comes together in this, and you're left feeling not just like you've watched a good episode of Star Trek, but you've watched a good episode of TV. You've had fun, and you come away from this every time with a smile. I just can't fault it, and it is one of those few Star Trek episodes that I will give 5 out of 5 for.
Woo!
Wow, okay. Cool. Well, that just leaves me then. I have got my conclusion here. This was excellent. Star Trek has a history of often making the fun episodes, some of the greatest, take about dribbles, and has frequently used the holodeck to play in other genres like detective, spy, western, romance, etc. So it's a wonder it took this long for the franchise to use it to pay homage to its own legacy. Star Trek is its own thing, which became a cultural juggernaut in its own right, but it stood on the shoulders of others, and this episode lovingly acknowledges that, playfully lampooning, but also staying the right side of respectful. I can't speak for everyone, but this sci-fi fan grew up with my initial exposure being the old school fantasies that were admittedly ridiculously far-fetched, but still truly captured the imagination in some powerful way. The Flash Gordons and Buck Rogers were the playground games that we played before we grew up and bought that replica Starfleet uniform or began cosplaying as an Orion. You get the idea. Everyone here is having a blast, from the performers to the script to the direction, and inviting the audience too as well. It's like we're being seen and told, we know you love this stuff, even if you see the absurdity. We do too. Come and play with us. It's not the most morally complex or philosophically debatable story, and I don't think it should be. In fact, trying to force that onto it would probably weaken what makes it work. It understands the specific space it's occupying, a loving, slightly playful tribute to a very particular style of sci-fi storytelling, and that's really where the episode sits for me. It achieves exactly what it sets out to do with complete confidence and no missteps. I don't think you could do a 1930s or 40s style sci-fi homage within Star Trek any better than this, and I don't think adding more depth would necessarily improve it. Trek gets a reputation for only being about the more heavy subjects, and this shows that it can absolutely still have fun with its genre, and it's at its best when it does that just as well. And I also gave it 5 out of 5. Yeah, that's, believe it or not, going to be very difficult to work out. No, it's not. We put the scores together, divide, but we don't need to do that. It's just 5 out of 5. It's a perfect score for Bride of Chaotica, which is ironically the second perfect score of this season after Our Man Bashir. So very popular holodeck episodes, it seems. So
nice.
It was currently sharing the joint top spot of the leaderboard there. So awesome. That's fantastic stuff. And so we reached the end of our adventurous romp through the cosmos. Were it not beneath my dignity, I might weep. But nay, I must instead, I'm no Martin Rayner, I try. But nay, I must instead congratulate you, dear brave listeners, for surviving to the end of another mission with us. If you enjoyed the journey, please spread the word across all known space. Share us with your friends, your secretaries, your robots, even your sworn enemies. Links to locate us throughout the quadrant can be found, as always, via the link tree in the episode description. And please do share it. Like I said, we do enjoy talking Star Trek. We love it, and we want to try and plug this as much as we can and get people involved, because we think it's quite fun and we enjoy it, so that's always good. And now to my stalwart and true fellow adventurers. Firstly, thank you, DK. Did you enjoy storming Chaotica's fortress?
I've really enjoyed it. Thank you, mate.
Awesome. And do you have anything to plug up places online where listeners can find your adventurous exploits?
I do. It was just a rumor a few episodes ago, but yes, I'm actually on social media now. I can be found on Blue Sky and Threads. I'll give you the links, chuck them in the description. But
awesome.
But yeah, hit me up there.
Wow, that's fantastic. DK coming out of his shell and into the universe. There you go. And Mary, huge thanks again for returning. You are genuinely always a fabulous guest, and I hope you also enjoyed the monochrome madness.
I have absolutely enjoyed it. And again, thank you for working with my schedule. Blessings to you both.
No, honestly, anytime. You are really a good guest. And where can people find more of your heroic deeds or your excellent geeking out, at least?
I spend most of my time on Threads, but I am on Threads and Blue Sky. I'm on Threads at Flute Music Cosplay. I'm actually, because I work in social media, I got burned out on social media, so I'm doing a lot less personal stuff lately. And then on Blue Sky, which I'm on a lot less right now, it's just Flute Music, and the music is with a K. So
awesome. Fantastic. Yeah. And always a pleasure to, like I said, hang out with both of you guys. And hopefully we can do it again soon, because it's always fun and have a good time. So that anyway, that concludes our mission here. But fear not, Trek fans and holodeck heads. Next week's things get animated as we welcome back co-host Justin and a very special first-time guest, Jason Gaston, to review 2 episodes of Star Trek Lower Decks, where things are reaching crisis point. Yes, recorded already, but airing next week. And until then, put your robot back in storage, park your rocket ship, and remember, we are Starfleet. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
You have been listening to the Hit or Miss Star Trek podcast, part of the Hit or Miss Who Trek channel. Hit or Miss Star Trek is hosted by Mike Wilson and DK. Behind the scenes and additional material by DK. Scripted, produced, and edited by Mike Wilson, based on an idea by Mike Wilson and Will Templar. Follow us on YouTube, your podcatcher of choice, and our social media. Links to all of these can be found by clicking on the link tree in the episode descriptions. This podcast is a Media Matters original production. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast throughout subspace. We'll be back for another thrilling trek through the stars soon, but for now, hailing frequencies closed.
Try to warp out of here at once, maximum speed.